Hi, welcome to another video. I have been wanting to make this video for probably, I don't know, 7 years, but I don't know, it's like kind of tacky to talk about how much you make. And, there are court reporters out there that don't make that much money for whatever reason. And I don't know, I just didn't want to deal with any haters, I guess. I don't know, but I think now with the way the industry is and the desperate need that we are in for court reporters, that it has to be clear that you really can earn six figures as a court reporter, as a freelance court reporter. And I am going to tell you exactly how I did it in my first year. Okay, so basically, my first year I was working full time, and I worked in Miami, Florida. I only worked in Miami, Florida. So I definitely think that's a big thing, working in a place where it's a very busy circuit. I also had, because of living in Miami and the lack of officialships, I did deposition work, I did court work, and I did examinations under oath. And I did basically everything that I could do, I did. And I was really, really hungry as a court reporter, and I wanted to be busy. I wanted to work as much as I could. I had no problem I was 20 years old, I had turned 21 that year, and I didn't have any issue being at a job 7:30 in the morning and starting a doctor depot at 7:30 in the evening. I really, really worked for this. Another thing, I started at Variteks, and Variteks had a sign-on bonus of $1,000. So, and I'm not seeing agencies do that anymore, but if you are a new court reporter, I think you should ask for a sign-on bonus, because it is very expensive to start working. And also, these agencies really need you more than you need them. And I say that because there are plenty of agencies for you to pick from, but there are not as many graduates coming out every year. So that's definitely one thing. If you do sign up with a bonus or something like that, they may ask you to commit maybe for 3 months, 6 months, a year, something like that. They're not going to just give it to you and let you walk away. But it's definitely, it's an incentive to bring you to keep working there. So I started working at Variteks, and I was like kind of okay with it, but since I lived right in the city and I lived right in downtown and people started to get to know me, I had other agencies that would call me to do work. Or another court reporter says, "Hey Kat, are you at the courthouse?" I'd say yes, and I'd pick up work that way. So eventually, I started with Variteks in January. So right around, I'd say August, I really felt like a true freelancer, even though Variteks didn't really like that. But I also felt that in such a big agency like Variteks, I wasn't able to stand out or get the kind of work that I wanted, because there were so many veteran court reporters. But the advantage that I had was I lived less than 4 minutes walking distance from the courthouse and less than 3 minutes walking distance from Variteks. And that whole area is the hub of court reporters, so of like the legal industry actually. So I never had to commute to get to work. So that saved me a lot of money because of, like gasoline and the transportation tolls and whatever. But it also saved me a lot of time. So having all that extra time and not worrying about, oh, I can't get to a job at 7:30, because I could. All I had to do was just wake up and walk, and I was at the job. Another thing that helped was I had some really good jobs, and I think that's what happens is sometimes you just get lucky. So I had gotten a really good trial, and it was like a 2-week trial with like expedites and everything. And there are certain trials where you could make like a whole income's worth, okay? Like there are certain days that you can make $2,000 from work. So then if you have like 14 or 20 days of that, that's 40 grand right there. You know, so I had one really good trial. I remember that. And that was towards the end of the year. And another thing is I got a lot of rough draft sales. So rough drafts to me are like easy money because you basically just send it, depending on how good your writing is, but it's just basically free money. So you get anywhere from $1 to $2 a page for each rough draft that you send out. So that really helped. But I think the number, okay, so if I had to like break it down to help you if you are interested in making six figures your first year or any year or this year, whatever it is always be willing to work. So just say yes. You know, say yes to the jobs, and you're going to get compensated for it. And sometimes it may seem like, oh, that job, it's, you know, they don't really pay that much, their rate is whack, but then you'll have $0 versus having $400, okay? Another thing, as I mentioned, is staying within your area. So if your agency is not allowing you to stay in your area, that is the perfect time to start networking. Meaning with other agencies and letting them know, hey, I live in this area, so I could only work in this area. So that will help you a lot with your commute and with the time. Another thing is something that really helped me, and I really did need it back then, was I had a scopist. I had two scopists. I don't think I would have been able to do it without scopist, because I did work every single day. And that's just the way my writing was back then. Now if I had the same writing skills today as I had, like if I had the writing skills I have today, if I had those back in like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever that was, I wouldn't have needed a scopist, and I would have been able to do it by myself, which that would have even gotten me more money because you have to pay your scopist and your proofreaders and all of that stuff. So that's another thing. Another thing is also networking with other court reporters. So letting them know, hey, if somebody calls you for a job and you're not able to make it, tell them you know somebody who could make it and let that person be me, you know? So that way you have just more phone calls. You have more people contacting you for work. Another thing is you can, there are job boards like CSR Nation, and you can put yourself on there so that you know when other jobs are, when people need coverage for work. And what else could I suggest? The rough draft sales, like, so some agencies have contracts, and some of those contracts have automatic orders. And like I said, those things all add up. And usually the places with automatic orders, they're so much easier because they're so repetitive. So that's what I would recommend for being a court reporter who works with an agency, you know? And so like now, I've been doing this for a very long time, and my goal in making six figures is, and I would say probably for the last, every year that I've worked, or when you take the amount of time that I've worked, I've definitely made six figures. If it's not like 101,000, it'll be like 130. It'll be somewhere around there, like for the rate that I work. Meaning, like when I went back to school, that was 9 months where I didn't work, you know, or just life issues going on. Like 2 years ago, I didn't work for like, I don't know, probably like a year I didn't work. So there are, but so now as a seasoned reporter, I guess, to make six figures, like what I plan on doing or what I want to keep doing is now I'm working on just getting my own client base. So I'm going to networking events, I'm meeting attorneys, I've developed my personal brand for attorneys so that they can contact me. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm keeping like a professional profile, And I, of course, so I'm conducting myself really as a business. So now I have my business cards and my website and my court reporting management system and all of those things, so that when an attorney approaches me, I really am a business. And the best thing about having your own clients is that you can work so little and get so much more. Agencies really take more than 50% of what they bill out on your work. It's once you start billing your own work and get your own clients, you'll be amazed at how much the agencies were taking for what they did. And now it's so much easier to operate as an independent contractor because of the internet. Meaning there are programs online or companies online that will produce transcripts for you. So you don't have to worry about producing the transcripts yourself. And you also have within your software how to make ASCII and e-transcripts and mini transcripts, all the things that attorneys need. There are, like, if you work for an agency and you have a portal, there are programs and companies out there that will create a portal just for you as a micro agency, so that you could have your own job numbers and your own list of clients all in one space. So once you start working for yourself, you can easily, as a freelance court reporter, getting depositions, even maybe getting 100 pages a week, just with one job a week, be okay, or 2 jobs a week, be okay. So it just depends on what you want and what you're looking for. But I've only worked in Miami, and I know for sure it is a 6-figure career. Those who are saying it's not probably haven't even done half of the things that I mentioned in this video. So I hope that helps everybody. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment, and I will be back with another video shortly.